Boring, you suck. Oh, I got a comment. Look, the reality is every creator faces negative comments. It's just part of the YouTube journey. But it's important to learn how to address this early on as a new or growing creator. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about why negative comments happen. We're gonna learn how to address these negative comments and respond to negative feedback in order for you to grow as a creator. Let's get started. So I'm gonna share one of the very first negative comments that I ever received, and it was just one word: boring. That's it. And I had poured my heart and soul into this video. I had spent so much time, so much of my passion and energy into this video, and then I got this negative comment, boring. And all of a sudden you start to get these emotions. Some of the emotions were frustration, self-doubt, feeling that I am not entertaining and I shouldn't be doing this, and even a little bit of anger. Those are some of the emotions that I received, and you might have had the same emotions if you received a negative comment. So I asked myself, why do negative comments happen? Why do people post negative things? And the first thing you need to understand is that some people just enjoy trolling, and some people just enjoy being negative for no reason. Since the dawn of the internet age, it's happened. It's just part of the internet culture, and it's something you have to understand being on the internet, that people are just gonna troll, trying to get some kind of emotional reaction to someone else in the comment section for their own entertainment. Now, others might have valid criticism, but they lack the tact to be able to communicate it constructively. Meaning, when I got that word boring, that's one word, boring. There's so many different things that could mean. The person wrote boring, but they could have been saying, hey, look, I'm overstimulated all the time because I scroll through on TikTok, constantly getting the dopamine impacts of new content, and I need that dopamine impact. And there's not nearly enough splits in the way you edited the video, or you are talking too slowly and I'm not stimulated. Or it could be the way my voice or something. It doesn't necessarily mean the content itself. But from that one word, boring, I don't really know how to interpret that. So I'm focused on the tone of it versus the actual context, but the context doesn't give me a lot. Another thing to remember is that it's not always about you personally. It could be about the commenter's mindset. So maybe they're in a fight with their boyfriend or girlfriend, and they just so happen to be on your video, and they need a way to communicate their frustration. Or another one is they're drunk, and maybe they're just trolling because they're drunk and boo, you suck, right? And it's just the way they are in their mindset. It's not necessarily about you at all. You're just there, and you're just the butt of their abuse for no reason. So these comments, they happen. So how do I process this negative feedback? So the very first thing I do every time I get a negative comment is I always take a step back. Now, I allow myself some time before I respond, if I respond at all, because you need time to process it. I don't know if this has happened to you. I know I always do this. Whenever my wife says, hey, can you go grab the soap from the other room? I always respond with, what? I heard her. I know what she said, but I need time to process it. I need time to respond. Okay, I'm gonna have to get up. I'm gonna have to go over there. So my immediate response is what? Instead of, yeah, I can do that. I always respond with just what. And what I'm actually doing is I'm just processing it, right? Sometimes we need time to just process what's happening. And especially if we have a lot of emotions associated with it, we need that time to process the emotion. So I like to take a physical step back. So I've now put distance between myself and whatever it is. So if it's my phone, I can put my phone down. Just give myself some time, put some physical distance between it. Or my computer, I can actually step back, allow myself to process what's happening, process the feedback, and then have a cooler head to come back to it. That whole concept of taking a physical step back though, I learned that from therapy. Yes, I go to therapy because I spent all this time to work on my physical health. Why not also work on my mental health? It's a whole other portion of it, and I'm not going to neglect one side if I want to improve and grow as an individual. So I highly encourage anyone, by the way, just side note, find a good therapist and seek the mental health as well as your physical health. But my therapist told me, hey, if you're ever in an emotional confrontation, allow yourself to process what's being said and before reacting by physically taking a step back. Because have you ever seen two guys getting into it, they're about to fight or something, and like, whoa, just take a step back, right? One, you're putting distance between each other, but also you're allowing yourself time to react, to to assess the situation. And by physically taking a step back, motion allows yourself to mentally reset the situation and in your environment. Now, you've taken a step back, you've allowed yourself to cool down. Now it's time to recognize the difference between constructive criticism and pointless negativity. Because remember, there's trolls on there who are just being trolls and there's nothing you can do about it. But some people actually want to help, but they don't know how to help, or they don't know how to communicate that. So let me give you 2 examples here. The first example is someone comments and says, "I don't like his voice, it's annoying." Okay, they have just commented not for me as the creator, but they've commented for the other audience members. Anybody else who views this and reads this in the comment section, that's who that comment was meant for, because it says, "I don't like his voice," right? Now, if this is a faceless channel, then I'm completely separated from this picture. I'm not me in it. It's just clips of whatever the content is, and then maybe it's my voice, or maybe I've got some AI voiceover or something, or I've hired a voice actor. So then it's not me at all, right? And they're not talking to myself at all, they're talking to the audience. But if I am there, right, it is me. You can see my face, this is my voice, my personality is my brand, is my content. And I respond with, well, what can I do differently to improve in future videos? Usually the response I get is, "Oh, I didn't think you would read my comment. Sorry about that, I was just trolling." Or maybe they actually say, "Hey, you need to change your audio," or something else. But on the other side, another example is if you get a comment that says, "I don't like your voice, it's annoying." Now they actually are talking to you as an individual. So my first thing always is to remember this. People don't like to be mean. It's hard to be mean. It's more energy to be mean than it is to be nice. So I always first try to think about what are they saying, and if their mindset is completely positive with what they wrote, how can I imagine what they said in the most neutral, helpful way possible? "I don't like your voice, it's annoying." Are they saying, "I don't like the audio. I think there's too much echo in the background," or your volume's too low? What is it that they're trying to communicate? Always think about the positive first and what they could be saying before you automatically start to go negative, right? It's called catastrophizing. We don't want to start thinking about all the negative things that it could be. Think about the positive things that it could be. Okay, so they've said this. Well, now this is a great thing. Maybe every time you make a video, you always record in the morning, and on this video, you just so happened to record at nighttime, and your voice does change throughout the day. So maybe in the mornings, you always sound like this, and your voice is more of a communication, but then in the nighttime, when you're a little bit more tired, maybe your voice always sounds like this. So maybe it actually is your voice just sounds annoying because you're recording at a different time of the day. So maybe this is a great way for you to learn and say, okay, I need to make sure I record in the morning so my voice doesn't actually sound annoying. Or if it's the audio context, well, then get a new microphone, record in a different location, soundproof your room, whatever it is. So then I can respond with, well, hey, what can I do differently in order to improve? And then you can get maybe some constructive feedback, or you don't get a response at all, or whatever it is. You've now opened the door for dialogue. But try not to take it so personally, because if you put yourself in the public eye, like I have in this video, I'm kind of now opening up myself to receive the same kind of criticism that a celebrity would get. Those on the tabloids, they're always getting Brad Pitt or whatever. They're always getting things that are both negative and positive said about them, and it's completely out of their control. Now I have the opportunity, even though I'm not a super big celebrity, 5 people view this is 5 people viewing me. They don't know me, but they have an opportunity and a platform to express whatever they want to say about me right there in the comments section. So just realize that you've put yourself in the situation, and it's going to be part of being a creator. But sometimes people are just trolling, and there really is hate comments. If you remember Rebecca Black, back from the 2000s, this 13-year-old girl put a music video out there and was receiving so much negative and hate towards her. And you can see how negative the internet was. I like to think that over time we've evolved as people, but I mean, it's still out there. People are just going to troll as part of the internet. And so what you can do is, if there is truly hateful content out there, you can delete comments. You can go in your studio platform and actually delete any hateful comments, and you can report people if it's serious or significant. So you can delete, and if it's a repeat, so if every one of your videos, the same person is commenting, instead of having to go in and delete that video and report it every time, you can report or block or ban a specific individual commenter so that they can't comment on any of your videos, and sometimes they can't even see them. And that can help your overall mental health. It can help the community so that they're not seeing all these hateful comments in the comment section. And it can help the overall engagement for the video, because if your video is how to bathe a horse and all of the comment section are people talking about Republican versus Democrat and they're arguing back and forth and there's pretty nasty comments going on there, well, that's not adding any helpful context to how to bathe a horse. So you can delete those comments, or you can address the situation in many different ways so that it's not actually negatively impacting it, because the algorithm will look at what's actually being said in the context. If there is hateful comment on there, they can actually flag your video, and it can impact its searchability and impact how it's pushed out to other viewers. But the main thing you can do is you can just ignore them. If it's not super bad, you can just ignore it, brush it off, have some thick skin, don't let it drag you down too much, and try to think about some of the positive things that people say or the constructive criticisms. So how do I identify and use valid feedback in order to improve my content? Well, let me give you a great example. So someone commented something very similar to the whole "your voice sounds funny and it's annoying" or "it's distracting." Someone said that in one of my videos. I don't remember the exact expression they said, but when I first read it, I was like, what? Screw you, you know? You get a little like, whoa. So I took a step back. I didn't respond immediately. And I think a day later, I responded. And I responded with, "Hey, I'm new to this and I'm learning how to improve. Is there anything I can do differently so that I can make sure I produce better content on my next video?" And I think it was a day later I said this. Well, 2 days later, I got a response to what I responded with. And he said, "Hey, look, I was drunk when I commented on that. I was just trolling. I apologize. Sorry about that, man. But your audio was echoing a lot in that video and your music was too loud and it was distracting and I didn't like that. So maybe you can get a different microphone and it will help in future videos." And so I responded with, "Hey, look, thanks, man. I appreciate it. No worries at all. I'm just trying to always make myself better and improve." Then he responded final time and said, "By the way, that was the first video I'd ever seen of you. I went back and watched 5 different videos of yours. I loved your content. It's actually really good. You've gotten better as time's gone on, and you've got a subscriber out of me, man. Apologize again. Thanks." And I was like, yeah. So one, I got a way to improve, right? He gave me actual feedback that allowed me to go out and say, okay, I need to make sure I have a better mic. I need to make sure I have a better audio sound environment. So now I can improve my content. I got a subscriber out of it. He went back and watched other videos, so that's other watch time, and maybe he clicked on an ad, so maybe I even got money out of it, right? So there was a lot of things that actually was positive that I learned from valuable, constructive feedback. So be open to it, but make sure to filter it in a growth mindset versus just that negative feedback and negative context. Focus on the message rather than tone, because remember, maybe they just don't know how to communicate what they're saying, whatever mindset they are, but there's still something that was the root of why they commented in the first place. So use that as a way for you to learn how to grow. So I'll leave you with this. Don't let negative comments stop you. Use it as fuel to further your progress as a creator. Remember, sometimes not every audience is going to be receptive to the information you put out there, and that's okay. Do what you can to always allow yourself to grow. Progress is super important. Sometimes you just got to have thick skin, brush those hate comments off, and then remain open to actual genuine feedback, because that actual genuine feedback is going to allow yourself to get better every single time. Remember, there's always someone out there who needs exactly what it is that you have. Use your passion as your fuel. Good luck, and I'll see you on the next one. you.